Hello noble ones and welcome to Metatron's Academy. Today we've got the second episode dedicated to the Portuguese language. Mind you, a language I'm finding more and more fascinating by the day. Today we are going to focus specifically on the Brazilian variety of Portuguese. But something that is important to say and underline is the fact that Brazil is a country with a lot of different accents, and that's why today we're mostly going to focus on the accent in Sao Paulo. But then we will also have a look at what some differences might be between the Sao Paulo accent and the Carioca accent. But the way I understand is that it's the accent connected to Rio de Janeiro. So I've already made a video where I tried to understand people from Portugal and people from Brazil, but I think it was mostly Carioca accent at the time and I had no idea. So today I just want to focus on Brazilian Portuguese. I'll make a dedicated video to Lisbon or other cities in Portugal, of course. But I want to see if maybe with videos that have more of an educational flair to them, rather than just being a couple of kids playing video games, I want to see if I can understand more, and specifically want to focus on the accent in Brazil. Of course, the one thing I noticed when you look at it on the map, actually the city of Sao Paulo is west of Rio de Janeiro, but they're not as distant as I thought they would be. So the fact that the accents are so different is fascinating to me, although then again, Brazil is a huge country, so yeah, probably they are quite distant actually. Okay, scratch that. But without further ado, let's just jump into it and let's see how much an Italian with zero training in Portuguese can understand from Brazilian Portuguese. Let's go. So on this video, they are in the city of Sao Paulo and there is this girl, I don't know if she speaks with a Paulista accent, I'm not trained, so I don't know, but she's interviewing people around Sao Paulo, so I have to imagine that probably what we're going to hear now is specifically the Paulista accent. Let me know. Let's go.
Olá, gente! Bem-vindo a novo episódio de Easy Languages, Easy Brazilian Portuguese. Eu sou a Cris.
Okay, so she said, hello, people, I would say that means. And I'm starting to notice one thing already. You see, literally, the more you listen, gente, gente. Now in Italian, it's gente. I wonder if one of the reasons why last time I had so much trouble trying to understand spoken Portuguese, but then I could read it, is because maybe they pronounce their T like a ch. If that's the case, that would already help me a lot once I know something like that. Let's see.
Eu sou a Cristina e no momento eu estou pouquinho suja porque eu estou na Praça Rotary, onde acontece evento muito legal.
Interesting. So I'm understanding, so I can't understand everything, of course. And again, Portuguese is quite difficult for me to understand, but I'm starting to at least understand a little bit. She said something about herself. And then she said suja. I have no idea what that means. But then she's talking about this special event, I suppose. Let's see what it is.
Que se chama verdejando, uma palavra
Which is called verdejando. Well, in Italian I would say verdeggiando. Something that has to do with green. Probably like nature. Let's see.
uma palavra que nunca vão encontrar no dicionário.
I love this. Oh my gosh, the intonation is so beautiful of Brazilian Portuguese. So she's saying that this is a word that we don't find or meet, I think literally means, because it sounds like incontrando in Italian, on the dictionary. I understood that one. So definitely I'm not understanding everything. It's still tough, but I probably understand more someone like this who is like teaching than like a couple of kids playing games.
Mas que representa todas as atividades verdes que acontecem aqui. E eu vou perguntar às pessoas, por que o verde é importante para São Paulo?
So the last part I understood. Why she's going to ask people why green is important in Sao Paulo. I didn't understand the first sentence though. I have no idea what she said there.
Por que o verde é importante para São Paulo?
O verde é importante. Yes, I think I was right. So the T is pronounced like a ch because she says importante. And in Italian it's importante. So I think a good mental mindset for an Italian is to think, okay, when there is a T in Italian, particularly I think at the end of words, just a bit, keep in mind that they're going to pronounce it like a ch. That already helps a lot.
Para São Paulo, para deixar a cidade pouco mais limpa, mais viva. A cidade é muito cinza.
Muito cinza. Ok, onde você mora agora?
Eu moro na Avenida Paulista.
É tão verde quanto aqui?
Não tanto, aqui é bem mais verde.
Yeah, of course, they spoke about the green, but I didn't understand much of that, I'll be honest with you. Maybe if I listen to it like 10 times in slow-mo, but let's continue. Let's see what else we can understand.
Por causa da poluição.
Ah, tem muita poluição aqui? O que causa essa poluição?
So, because of the pollution, which I don't know what it is, and she says, oh, we've got a lot of pollution here, and what is causing this pollution, which I don't know what it is?
Os carros, os automóveis.
Por que?
Okay, automobiles. Pollution, maybe If I have to imagine that it sounds like English, then pollution. But as an Italian, I wouldn't have understood that if that's what it means. But again, he's saying cars. Of course, it's either smoke or pollution. It must be pollution. It's just that in Italian, we say inquinamento. So that one has nothing to do. Coming from English, it's probably easier to understand that one. But again, put into a context, I can kind of guess. Still difficult. It still is a difficult language, but it is definitely a little easier. Let's move to the second clip. Let's see how much we can understand there.
Oi pessoal, neste vídeo eu vou falar pouco sobre a história da cidade de São Paulo e lhes mostrar.
It's a story, the cidade de Sao Paulo. I love the accent. So she's saying on this video we're going to falar from context. I understand must be to speak. That's something that I kind of guessed as well in the first video we made of this series. In Italian it's parlare, so it's closer to French, but falare must be to speak. So in this video we're going to speak about the history of the city of Sao Paulo.
E lhes mostrar alguns lugares históricos nesta cidade.
And I'm going to show you the historical sites or places in this city. Oh wow! Finally, for the first time in my life, I'm understanding some Portuguese.
A região onde hoje se encontra São Paulo, assim como o restante do Brasil e das Américas, era originalmente habitada por indígenas.
Okay, so she's saying that the city of Sao Paulo in, did she say South America? I don't know. Was initially inhabited by indigenous people. She said something else at the beginning, no idea what it was.
Em 500, os portugueses chegaram ao Brasil e em 1554, os jesuítas...
Okay, so now she's saying that the Portuguese have arrived in Brazil, but then she said the date, and it was kind of difficult for me to recognize. It was very, very fast, and again, it's the accent, it's the way they pronounce things. It's mostly, I think, consonant clusters, because the vowels don't seem to be a problem for me. If you say, like in Italian, we say Brasile, and you say Brazil, that's fine, I can recognize it, even if you put a different vowel at the end. It must be the consonants. That's what's putting me off. And I think so, it shouldn't be too difficult to readjust if you do some training.
Chegaram a São Paulo com o intuito de catequizar e alfabetizar os indígenas. Agora eu estou em frente ao pátio do colégio no centro de São Paulo. Foi exatamente neste local que os jesuítas fundaram o colégio jesuíta.
Okay, so now she's talking about the Jesuits and founding the monastery. Of course, everything else lost completely. Let's listen a little more, and then I have a third video which is going to be really interesting. You don't want to miss that one.
No dia 25 de janeiro de 1554. E ao redor deste colégio se formou...
Of that date, I only caught the last, 54. I didn't get the of course, she must have said something like mil, because we say mille. She must have said mil, then I lost it, then 54. So as an Italian, I'm having more problems understanding the 100 part. Very interesting. I'll have to see how they say it exactly. How about we jump? It's very interesting. This is fascinating. Let's jump onto the third video. You're gonna love it. So this is a video where we have a speaker from Sao Paulo and a speaker from Rio de Janeiro. So we're going to hear the Paulista accent and the Carioca accent. Let's see if I can tell the difference. I might not. Let's try it.
Porta ou porta?
Porta.
Portão ou portão.
So already I'm noticing that the Paulista accent, she seems to switch between a rhotic version, so she's rolling the R, like I would, r, and then she's not. So maybe in that accent you have both varieties, that's how I'm understanding it. Instead, in the Carioca accent, it seems like she's not rolling her R's. She's doing more of maybe, is it a uvula sound? Possibly. Let's listen to it a bit more. There was a difference in the vowel as well, but I couldn't really tell it.
Pastel.
Pastel.
Second difference that I'm noticing is that in the Paulista accent, the S seems to be a frontal S when it's in the middle of a word. S, like in English, sun. Instead, in the Carioca accent, for what I can see here, it's more of a sh, pastel. It's interesting because that's what happens in some dialects in Italy in the south. Only a few dialects do that. I don't. My S is a frontal S in the majority of cases, but some people do. Very interesting.
Pasta de dente.
Pasta de dente. So I'm noticing in the Brazilian variety, the D is pronounced like a J. So together with the T pronounced like a Ch, if I was right, I'm already identified two of the major problems as an Italian when it comes to recognizing. So pasta di denti, which is like toothpaste, yes. We would say pasta dentifricia in Italian, although usually you just call it dentifricio.
Pasta de dente.
Yep, she's doing sh instead of s. Fascinating.
Biscoito ou bolacha?
Biscoito. Bolacha.
Uvas.
Uvas.
So, not only there is a difference in the vowel quality, the Paulista seems to say uvas with a. Instead, what I'm noticing, I could be wrong, but what I'm noticing in the Rio de Janeiro accent, she is saying uveish. So the vowel is different. I probably butchered it, but the vowel is a little longer. It has a different qualitative feel to it. And the S is a retracted S because she pronounced it like a sh instead of a s.
Marte ou Marte?
Marte.
Tênis.
Tênis.
Yeah, this actually clears it completely for me. Look at the way the first speaker said tenis and the second said tenis. The second one has the same S that you have in Spain Spanish, specifically Castilian, and in Greek. It's the retracted S. Most likely that's how the S was pronounced, by the way, in classical Latin too. That's why when I speak Latin in classical variety, I use the retracted S. Even though my natural S is a frontal S, I do switch into a sh S, which is a sound in between s and sh. It basically, if you study Mandarin Chinese, is the X, like in xie xie. I do switch into that when I say, for example, nostris, 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 instead of nostris, which I would use in an ecclesiastical pronunciation. Okay, so fascinating stuff. If you are from Brazil and I misunderstood something, both from the pronunciation standpoint and from this analysis that I did, or maybe any of the things that I translated, feel free to let me know if I said anything incorrectly. Of course, I apologize for it. I don't know anything about Portuguese, so I'm coming into this from a blank slate. If you liked this, I can of course keep on making these and maybe have another one dedicated entirely onto either the Carioca accent or the Paulista accent and go even deeper into this whole discussion. As always, let me know in the comments, and thank you for joining Metatrons Academy.